Greetings to everyone out there in the No DQ galaxy. Welcome to the No DQ live recap of the Friday Night SmackDown episode for October 11th, 2019. This was the first night of the 2019 WWE Draft. The second part will continue on Monday Night Raw. We had Fox executives and USA Network executives in a war room. They were discussing potential picks throughout the broadcast. We had some matches. Let's go ahead and get started with the review. And I do apologize for starting later than usual. I was actually checking out the Breaking Bad movie earlier, so that led to a little bit of a delay. I apologize again. Movie was awesome, by the way. Mike B with a $5 super chat, and no spoilers in the chat room for people that have not seen it yet. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, those poor Bayley buddies had a family, damn it. Anyway, I kind of like her new attitude and look. I will be talking about Bayley. Bayley is perhaps the biggest story coming out of SmackDown other than the obvious draft picks. Let's go ahead and start with the opening match. By the way, Mike B is the reigning and defending No DQ Super Chat champion. So with a $5 Super Chat, you could become No DQ Super Chat champion. We'll say that Mike wins it via the Bayley to Belly, or Belly to Bayley, whatever the hell it's called. Maybe she's getting a new finisher now to go along with everything else. Mike B, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. So we kicked off SmackDown with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, the big dog, to determine the very first pick in the 2019 draft. Both guys got their pyro, so there's still pyro. People were wondering, is pyro already gone? Nope. We got pyro for both guys. Back and forth match, as you would expect. Big moves hit. Rollins hit the pedigree, got a near fall. Reigns hit the Superman punch, got a near fall. Rollins hit the curb stomp, or was going for the curb stomp, and then the lights went out, and then all of a sudden Bray Wyatt started pulling Seth Rollins under the ring. Rollins managed to get from under the ring, get back into the ring. He was choking on the smoke, and then Bray Wyatt came out from under the ring and was standing tall over Seth Rollins. The lights were going off, and it was revealed after the commercial break that Seth Rollins won the match via disqualification. They should have just said ref stoppage, but in this case it was a DQ, and because of that, Monday Night Raw got the very first pick in the draft. Hamp Connor with a $5 super chat says, they tried so hard to make the draft look like a huge deal. I win via the arm drag. All right, so via one of Chris Jericho's 1,001 holds, Hamp Connell is the new No DQ Super Chat champion of the world. Congratulations to Hamp Connell. Actually, it's 1,004 holds. My apologies to Chris Jericho. So Stephanie McMahon came out to announce the first batch of picks. We had 4 batches of picks throughout the evening. We had Michael Cole and Corey Graves going over all the rules for the draft picks. I'm not going to go over them here. Ken terminated by Google with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Ken. I really do appreciate it. He says, yeah, you too could be a super chat champion. As Riff says, it's not like I've never been a super chat champion, let alone 25 times. Gives Hamp the WrestleMania 25 Ricky Steamboat high crossbody. I love it. I love it, Ken. Thank you so much for your contribution. Much appreciated. And hopefully you'll hold on to that championship here for a little bit. All right, so now let's go over the picks that were made. Monday Night Raw, the very first pick, for those of you wondering, when it comes to trivia, the very first pick for Monday Night Raw, USA Network wanted Becky Lynch. I want to see those Raw quarter hours and see if Becky Lynch is really worthy of being the first pick. But nonetheless, Monday Night Raw goes with Becky Lynch, which, I mean, she's the Raw Women's Champion, so duh. Like, that was one thing I was confused about. Like, would the champions be eligible to be drafted or would they not be eligible? But Monday Night Raw picked their Raw Women's Champion. So I guess SmackDown theoretically could have picked Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion. I think the champion should have not been eligible, or they should have merged the titles, but whatever. WWE does what they do. They're going to do it anyways. We had SmackDown pick, you guessed it, the big dog, Roman Reigns, as the number one pick for SmackDown, which, I mean, he is the big dog after all. Funny how they would pick him over the WWE champion. I mean, duh, you pick Brock Lesnar. He's the world champion. You risk Monday Night Raw getting him. Now, here's where I get really confused. Okay, so Mike B with a $5 super chat says, sledgehammer to Ken. Sorry, man. And you know that sledgehammer is damn dangerous. It is just appalling to even suggest using a sledgehammer on somebody. You could get DQ'd, or excuse me, you could get the match stopped and nobody's a winner if you bring out that sledgehammer. So, yeah. Mike B, how daring of you to bring out that sledgehammer, you son of a bitch. So Raw's next pick, Raw's second pick, hold on to something here, the OC. That's right, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, which, to be fair, you get three people for one, so I kind of get it, but why not just pick Brock and screw over SmackDown? I don't know. I would have gone with Brock personally, or Bray Wyatt, who's the hottest act in the company. Keep him from being taken away from you, which is exactly what SmackDown did. SmackDown picked Bray Wyatt, so there you go. And boy, Raw really looked foolish later on in the show. I'll get to that here in a few minutes. And then Raw's next pick was Drew McIntyre. This is so sad because, yeah, you would think that Drew, on paper, maybe a year ago, would have been a top pick. But in kayfabe terms, in storyline terms, what has Drew McIntyre done over the past 6 months? He's been Shane McMahon's lackey. He jobbed out in the King of the Ring. He's done jack shit in kayfabe. So why would Raw pick him? Wow. USA Network execs looking like total morons here. Oh, man. I just cracked at that one. I get it. WWE wants to push Drew McIntyre and act like he's a big deal, that he's a high commodity, but come on now. Come on! Who are you fooling here? And speaking of laughable, we had Samoa Joe on the panel with Renee Young and Booker T to discuss the picks. Samoa Joe, if you're going to do something like that, pick Samoa Joe, who has, quite frankly, done more than Drew McIntyre as of late. Oh, poor Joe. I feel so bad for the guy. So next up, we had another match between King Corbin and Chad Gable. Usual good match from these guys. A very game Chad Gable. Gave it all he had. Did some suplexes. Did the ankle lock, but Baron Corbin got out. Hit the end of days to put away Chad Gable. And this could very well be the end of Chad Gable's push now that this draft is taking place. Or excuse me, Shorty Gable. My bad. It's Shorty Gable or Shorty G. Whatever the hell his name is. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I feel like his push is going to be dropped fairly quickly now. And now we go back to the picks. We had the second round of picks. Stephanie McMahon doing the honors. We had Raw picking, and Raw got more picks than SmackDown because, well, Raw's a 3-hour show. Raw picked the Viper, Randy Orton, which, again, he's got the name value. I get it. Randy Orton's a legend, but I asked that question. What has he done lately? Not a whole lot. He lost to Kofi Kingston, who lost to Brock Lesnar in 8 seconds. So Monday Night Raw is like, oh boy, let's get Randy Orton. Like, in kayfabe terms, Raw's picks don't really make any sense. And then SmackDown, their next pick was Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. That loser who lost to Becky Lynch at Hell in the Cell. Really? Why not pick Charlotte? Again, why not pick the champion and steal the champion away? I might have missed it. Maybe WWE said something where certain people were not eligible to be drafted. They might have had a list that I totally forgot about. I mean, I really did not pay that much attention to their rules and regulations, all that crap they were doing. Oh, Michael Wayne said the draft pool is for night 2. You cannot get drafted until Monday. So actually, these don't sound as bad as they do because there was a certain rule where certain people could only be drafted on SmackDown and certain people can only be booked on Raw. I mean, the whole thing's confusing to me, and my apologies. So maybe those picks were not as bad as they sounded. Although I'm looking at the order here, and the order is definitely questionable. So Monday Night Raw picked Ricochet, which is a good pick. Ricochet's done a lot. He's an up-and-comer. Cool pick. No problem with that. And then SmackDown picked Braun Strowman, which, even though Strowman has choked in his recent performances, he's got a big match with Tyson Fury. He's still Braun Strowman. He's still a badass. I would have picked Strowman ahead of Sasha Banks. In kayfabe terms, I would have definitely picked Strowman over Sasha. And then Monday Night Raw, and this one's a head-scratcher, Bobby Lashley. I guess maybe you get Lana with Bobby Lashley. I don't know. But Monday Night Raw picked the man who, I guess they really buy into the catchphrase. He looks like money. He smells like money. So Raw thinks Bobby Lashley's money. There you go. Next up, we had footage shown of the press conference from earlier today. I did do a quick live stream about that. Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury and their little confrontation to set up their match at Crown Jewel. We had Paul Heyman come out with Brock Lesnar for a promo. Heyman talked about what Brock Lesnar fears, and that fear is having to relive October 23rd, 2010, when the Butcher Cain Velasquez victimized, bloodied, conquered Brock Lesnar. And Paul Heyman said that Brock has never made any excuses about it, and that's a testament to the fighter that Cain Velasquez is. However, Brock Lesnar is a man who embraces fear, and Rey Mysterio may have forced Brock to relive the ghost of his past, but at Crown Jewel, October 31st, Brock Lesnar is going to conquer his fear. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, is the B team more over than EC3? No. EC3 more over than the B team. Yes, so, yeah, I forgot about the rule, so I apologize, everybody. I'm sure I'm going to get it in the comments. 30 superstars were eligible on this show, and then 40 will be eligible on Monday Night Raw. So I screwed up, and what I said earlier is not quite as bad as it sounds. But I will talk about the order that they did on this particular show. Like, I do think SmackDown should have gone with Braun ahead of Sasha Banks. And quite frankly, I would have gone with Braun over friggin' Drew McIntyre since they were both eligible on the same night. Like, how can Raw lose Braun Strowman and they get Drew McIntyre? Really? So I could still complain about it a little bit. The whole thing's just ridiculous. And especially like at 6 months when these guys will probably be jumping back and forth on shows anyways. Hab Connell with a $5 super chat says, funny how Kofi Kingston is back to the mid-card and not even mentioned as a draft pick or for a rematch. I win via interference by Hank Schrader on the shitter. All right, our man, Hank Schrader on the shitter, doing a little run to make sure that Hab Connell is once again the reigning and defending No DQ Super Chat champion. Michael Wayne says this draft pool makes no sense either. And apparently somebody noted on Twitter, I got a bunch of messages about this, that WWE posted the draft pools, but it basically gave away all the people being drafted. So somebody's going to need to verify with me if that's actually the case. Anyways, Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez came out, and Cain said he's going to beat Brock again at Crown Jewel, and then Rey said that Cain is going to give him a matching scar on his face. By the way, guys, no DQ Soldier is Gilberto. He's trolling. Sorry to blow your cover, Gilberto. Next up, we had The New Day versus the OC in a 6-man tag team match. Kofi Kingston, happy-go-lucky, still positive despite going back to the mid-card after his 8-second loss. You would think Kofi Kingston would have been devastated, but nope. The power of positivity is keeping his head in the game. Anyways, Kofi got the hot tag. We had a pretty good sequence here between AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston, but in the end, Kofi pinned AJ Styles with the tip, also known as Trouble in Paradise. So there you go. Monday Night Raw's pick. Great pick, Monday Night Raw. OC losing right after you picked them in the draft. Way to go. We had more draft picks. Monday Night Raw picked Alexa Bliss, which, okay. Then SmackDown picked Lacey Evans. Why? Why did you pick Lacey Evans? Again, what has she done lately besides lose? Monday Night Raw picked Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens ran off Shane from SmackDown, so good pick there. SmackDown picked The Revival, which I guess is fine. Are they even the tag team champions? I'm not even sure who the tag team champions are at this point. That's how confused I am. And then Monday Night Raw picked Natalya. So we're starting to get down to the bottom of the barrel for these picks. $5 from Psycho Jet Black says, and he's the brand new, reigning and defending, No DQ Super Chat champion. He says, I relinquished the title to Jesse Pinkman via a kick to the testicles. Ouch. Also, who goes to SmackDown, Brock or Seth? I would assume Brock. If Brock's not the first pick on this coming Monday's Raw, then something is seriously wrong with these executives from Raw and SmackDown. Brock's got to be the first pick. He has to be. He just has to be. If you don't pick the WWE champion Brock Lesnar, then your network deserves to go out of business. Ken Terminated by Google says, I should watch Breaking Bad. I heard the show is badass. You're goddamn right. All right, so I mentioned those picks, and then we had the final batch of picks. So the last picks, Monday Night Raw gets the Viking Raiders. Good pick, good pick. Better pick than the Revival at this stage of the game. Here's a head scratcher. SmackDown picks the Lucha House Party. Wow. Pretty stupid pick right there, if you ask me. Raw picks Nikki Cross, so Nikki and Alexa on the same brand. SmackDown picks Heavy Machinery. Fine, whatever. And then Monday Night Raw picks the Street Profits. So it looks like Street Profits are finally, officially part of the main roster, no longer part of NXT, which, I mean, I think the writing was on the wall for a while now, but I guess it's official now. So there you go. Monday Night Raw gets the Street Profits. And that was it for this episode. Next Monday on Raw, we'll have the rest of the people that haven't been drafted yet. And that includes a lot of big names like Brock Lesnar and others that I cannot think of right at this very moment. But there you go. Then we had the main event of the evening, Charlotte versus Bayley. Bayley getting her rematch. So I guess with the wild card rule being over, now champions can get their automatic rematches, except for Kofi Kingston, of course. Bayley came out. She has a brand new haircut, new look. She had the Bayley buddies, but then she decided enough's enough. She's going all out with her new demeanor. She has new entrance music too, by the way. Bayley destroyed the Bayley buddies. We had the match. Bayley could not put away Charlotte, started getting frustrated, and then Charlotte came in and hit the natural selection and then went for the figure four, but then Bayley reversed it into a pinfall, and guess what? 1, 2, 3. Bayley is once again your SmackDown Women's Champion. So I guess that title change was just to get Charlotte closer to that magic 16 times so she can tie her father, probably surpass her father with title reigns. After the match, Bayley cut a promo and basically said, screw all of you. So it looks like Bayley is full bad. She has turned full evil, finally ditching the happy-go-lucky persona. And there you go. Good ending to SmackDown. I think Bayley desperately needed the change. Perhaps it was too late. It should have been done a long time ago. But they're finally pulling the trigger with Bayley as a full-fledged heel and ditching that whole babyface persona. We'll see what happens with Sasha Banks. I mean, she's reportedly injured. And Bayley's on SmackDown, so I presume that means Bayley's going to stay on SmackDown, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the picks on Monday's Raw. Mike D with a $5 super chat says, your thoughts of CM Punk's shirts getting removed from ProWrestlingTees.com. Another sign pointing to a WWE return? Well, thank you, Mike B, for that. And we'll say via the go to sleep, Mike D, not Mike B, is the new No DQ super chat champion of the entire No DQ galaxy. I'm not going to say anything about CM Punk. As far as I'm concerned, I will see it. I'll believe it when I see it. He may end up working for Fox, which could be the reason, and people could be reading too much into it. But we'll see. CM Punk, I think we will see him back in WWE in an official capacity at some time. I don't know when that's going to be. I think AEW seems unlikely at this point. I think if he was going to be there, he would have shown up either at Chicago or at the debut AEW Dynamite. I think if CM Punk ever does return to wrestling at this point, it'll be for WWE. But he has made it clear he does not want to wrestle again. And the whole deal with Fox is him working for Fox and not WWE. Ken terminated by Google with a $5 super chat. So Ken is once again the No DQ super chat champion. He says, holy S, Riff said goddamn to me. I love it, but don't let Caitlyn hear you. By the way, I'll use Edge's WrestleMania 26 spear on the guardrail. All right, well, there you have it. Ken terminated by Google. Once again, the No DQ super chat champion of the world. All right, let's go ahead and do the letter grade for this week's SmackDown. Kayfabe Candy asks, like, oh my freaking ears! A little throwback to Rod, or was it Todd from The Simpsons? I forgot. So JSpin401 gives the show a C. Nathan gives it a C-. Bradley gives it a C-. Joseph gives it a B-. Super Name It gives it a C-. Mike D with a B. Tic Tat Tat with a C. Richard Morales with a C+. Michael Wynn with a C+. CC Drink with a B. Evangelica gives it a B. Matt Helms with a B. And Mike B with a B-. Alex James with a B. Kev Dog with a B-. And Calvin Bowman with a C+. Trey Johnson with a C. So it's a mixed bag. I thought it was all right. I really don't care that much about the draft, so it's hard for me to really take it seriously. And the rules and everything, it's confusing. And Caitlyn gives El Camino an A, which I agree. I mean, I definitely understand. This is not a spoiler or anything, but I was very skeptical about them doing a movie and ruining what they had done with Breaking Bad, and they did not ruin it. It was a great follow-up to Breaking Bad. They probably did not need to make the movie, but it was awesome. It was very well done for what they did, in my opinion. I was very entertained by it and very satisfied with it. So that's all I'm going to say without spoiling it. El Camino, definitely check it out. And I would recommend watching Breaking Bad, or at least watching a recap of Breaking Bad. But really, you should watch the whole show. And if you haven't already, what are you thinking? Anyways, my letter grade, I'm going to give it a B-. I thought it was pretty good overall, eventful show. I love the Bayley stuff, even if it might be too late. At least they're doing something with her finally. Brock's promo was fine. And, it was a fairly eventful show, hence the B-. But my fear is that in 6 months, it's all going to be irrelevant again. So time will tell. We'll see if history is kind to this show. Mike B with a $5 super chat, pedigree, and I'm out. Mike B says he's out. Congratulations to Mike B for once again being the reigning and defending No DQ super chat champion. Christopher Mace says only watched Breaking Bad because you keep mentioning it. Well, there you go. check it out. Watch it. It's on Netflix. Great show. Best show ever, in my opinion. And watch Better Call Saul, too, because that's a hell of a show as well. Got to get Caitlin on that soon, because I think they got the new season coming up early next year. Josh Mansfield, better late than never. So that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and sorry again for being late. Better Call Saul is good. Check it out. I will be back usual time on Monday, and we should be back to a normal schedule next week. Normal time for Raw, right after Raw. Wednesday night, AEW Dynamite review, and then Friday night SmackDown. All the reviews right after the show. This week was a little crazy between traveling and the Breaking Bad movie. It was just crazy, and then it was pouring rain outside, so just a lot of things happening. Very busy week, but I thank you guys for tuning in nonetheless. And if you did enjoy the video, please do me a favor and spread the word. Tell a friend. Click on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you guys can get updates. And I got a lot more content coming this week. Going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all so much. Have a great night, and see you next time.